What is going on, everyone? Thank you so much for coming back today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day. Just click on today's video. I greatly appreciate it. Another way to help support me and help support this channel is hitting the thumbs up button down below. If you're not a subscriber, hey, I would love that. Click the little subscribe button down below, and then out beside that, hit that little post notification and select all, and then YouTube will notify you whenever I drop a new video. Today, let's just get into it. I got a great video planned for you guys today. I'm going to talk about something that you know, I'd known for a while. I'd heard little stories about it, but as I do my research for it, learn more and more stuff about it. So, today I want to talk about the relationship between Bill Murray and his longtime friend Harold Ramis. Harold Ramis and Bill Murray started their career on Second City. You know, there's that Second City connection again, like I've talked about before, you know, with John Belushi, John Candy, Rick Moranis, all those guys started off in Second City. And again, I think after all this stuff of me talking about this, I need to do a video about Second City because there's so many stuff that came out of there. Harold Ramis, Bill Murray got their start on Second City in the 1970s in Chicago, working on the show throughout the years. But in 1977, Bill went on to greater things. He went on to SNL, but him and Ramis still continued to be friends throughout that time, working on many projects where he worked with. His first feature film was Meatballs. He worked with Ramis on that. Throughout the years, he worked with him on Stripes. He worked with him on Caddyshack. He worked with him on the original first Ghostbusters, where Ramis played Egon in the movie. Now, the role of Bill Murray was originally wrote for John Belushi, but as we know, John Belushi did pass away, and the role eventually went to Bill Murray. So, they had worked with different stuff together. Along comes this script for Groundhog Day that Ramis had actually helped co-write. Now, you know, Ramis wanted this movie to be fun, uplifting, you know, kind of a family kind of comedy. Murray, who had come on the set, now, they've been talks of Murray, he was difficult to work with. There's a whole nother video I could do about Bill Murray on the set of What About Bob with Richard Dreyfuss. That's a whole nother story. But today we're going to talk about the Ramis and Murray story. Now, Murray, he wanted to be in the rooms whenever the rewrites happened, and he was just not in a good place whatsoever. He kept thinking that the movie should be dark. You know, it was just not the line of work that Ramis wanted to do. Now, it was said during this time, too, that Murray was actually going through some personal problems in his life. I think I determined that I think this was the time that Murray was going through a divorce. So he also made it very difficult for him to work on set. Things were going back and forth where eventually Ramis he was always a calm, chill, cool, collective guy until one day he just kind of lost his temper on Murray, grabbing him by his collar and shoving him up against the wall. But that story is written about in the book Ghostbusters' Daughter, written by Harold Ramis' daughter, Violet. I do have that book coming. It will actually arrive tomorrow, so I can't wait to get into that and read that whole story about that. But no, Bill just made it more and more difficult. Once that happened where Ramis, you know, kind of lost control, lost his temper, shoved him against the wall, that's whenever the tension just got more and more on the set of Groundhog's Day. You know, it was told that Bill, you know, there is an interview with Ramis later on where it was talking about where it would take several assistants to go into Murray's trailer, one to get him up, you know, to do the first wake-up call where, you know, would get him going, then they'd have to send in, like, tougher people to get him up and out and onto set and working and stuff like that. Where to the point where Murray did not want to talk to anyone on the set. He actually hired people. He hired assistants to talk to people for him. So, and it was very weird, the stuff that he did, too. He had hired a person that was legally deaf, had no oral speech whatsoever, and Murray did not know sign language. No one else on the set knew sign language. So, this was just another hurdle that made it absolutely difficult to work with Bill Murray on this set. Murray kept saying that he was going to learn sign language and then would just never do it. So that put the production back several weeks more just trying to get in communication with Bill Murray, because he cut off all communication with everybody. But fun fact about Ramis is that I actually didn't know this until I was doing some research on him. He actually directed 4 episodes of the TV show The Office, which is, you know, I would say in my top 5 sitcoms of all time. But yeah, he directed some of the most iconic episodes that there was of that season, of the 3rd season. He directed the safety training, you know, the one where Dwight has the mask on his face, the mannequin mask. He directed that one. He directed the Benihana Christmas. He directed the beach games, and he also he directed another episode called The Delivery Part 2. And you know, also too, Ramis was a part of so many iconic movies throughout the 80s that, you know, he helped Murray with a lot of that. Murray was in a lot of those movies that he had either directed or co-wrote or was a producer on. You know, most notably there was Meatballs, Stripes, Caddyshack, Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2, Groundhog's Day. You know, all those movies that Ramis had, you know, been a part of, that he had taken Murray along with him for that. But unfortunately, you know, after this whole debacle and whole thing fell through, Murray did not speak to Ramis for 20 plus years. But unfortunately, in 2010, Ramis was, he was diagnosed with autoimmune inflammatory vasculitis, which he lost the ability to speak, unfortunately. So they had not talked for so many years, where, you know, this is another thing from the excerpt from the book that I can't wait to read, is that his daughter talks about that just out of the blue, out of nowhere, that Murray just shows up, you know, to Ramis's house, and he says, she said that it was with a box of donuts, and it is like they never had stopped talking. You know, Ramis couldn't really speak at that time, but she says in her book that they just spent hours just, you know, Murray talking to him and them just laughing back and forth, and it was just, you know, that's just a great story to hear, that they were able to finally bury the hatchet on that. Sadly, on February 24th, 2014, Harold Ramis did pass away. And so, you know, he left a legacy on Hollywood. He was a part of some of the most iconic, you know, pop culture references that we still enjoy today. You know, and I loved, most people got a lot of slack, got a lot of, you know, some people didn't like it, but I loved the tribute that they did for him in Ghostbusters Afterlife. I thought that was such a cool concept that they were actually able to incorporate him into the movie. But that's the story that I have for you guys today. I'm curious to hear your take on it. You know, were you a Bill Murray fan? You know, obviously growing up, you know, he had a big part of, you know, the movies that I watched in that time frame, and it was great to go back and look back on some of these stories and just think about the movies and the memories and stuff like that. But I'm curious to hear from you guys. Drop me a comment down below. Guys, and on your way out, please do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, I would greatly appreciate it. I would love for you to become a subscriber of the channel. Hit the subscribe button and then hit that little post notification and select all. And then YouTube will send you a nice little notification whenever I drop a new video. But guys, that's all I have for you guys today. I love you. Mom, I love you. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks, guys.